Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, Senior Editor over at the Koalition.com.
My name is Lawrence, or a punk with toys. Man, I messed up here.
It's all right. Look at it. He doesn't even know who he is. He is. He's losing his mind.
I can't remember what I said. My name is Lawrence, aka Punk with Toys on all the social medias.
There you go. Now people get a second guess. I'm like, yo, this dude is lying. He's giving a fake name. He's giving all kinds of stuff. This is not.
Believe me, I'm not hard to find on.
Right? It's not hard.
I'm not hard to find if you if you know my YouTube, which is right there.
There you go. Exactly. It's under below. You'll see all the links. People always have questions. They're like, oh, where's this guy from? And it's all there in the links. You can find us and all the other thingies. But hey, everybody, you've already been following us. If you're new, then welcome. We cover a lot of shows here. Surprise, surprise. That's why it's called the TV Terminal. This is a terminal for a bunch of TV shows that we cover and watch. You can see the playlist, a bunch of stuff there. But this is for one of our favorite shows, Landman, Season 2, Episode 4, Dancing Rainbows. This was a long one. As you guys know, you've already watched it. 62 minutes. Okay, that's the runtime. No commercials for this one. We're just saying 62 actual show minutes. Pretty damn long.
It's a lot of filler. But I understand why it's drug out so much, because it has to set the tone. It's a very somber episode. You not only get the funeral of Tommy's mother, but you also get Cami going out to see what's his name?
Monty. Yeah, Monty. I mean, there's a lot. We'll just get into this. Let's just get it real quick. Thanks everybody for the support, for the likes, the subs, the follows, the hours that come in. We see it. We see you guys watching the content. We love it. Thank you on all of it. It's great. We appreciate all of it. Just keep it up. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Talking to you guys in the comments. You're all great. Thank you. But yeah, let's just get into this because there's a lot. And like you said, most of it is filler. It's just setting up the mood, the tone, a lot of great camera shots in different spots. But when we get to the meat and potatoes, which is what we want to do, this is what's going on. So the episode starts off with a trucker driving at night, playing the music, keeping them. It's very loud, but I'm sure it's probably loud for the driver as well to keep them awake. Long night drives. We've all been there. And there's a car on the road with no lights on. He's barreling down.
It's not even in the road. It's right by the oil rig or oil field. I'm not sure what you would call it. And he's just parked there. Now, why the semi was barreling in as fast as he was there?
Oh.
But if you notice, when he hits it, like you see the drill site and everything. So again, I'm assuming he was taking the road somewhere. But it wasn't on. It didn't seem like it was on the road. That should be.
Yeah, that's
right. So I was a little confused on that.
Oh, all right, yeah. Because go ahead, people, if you can clear this up. But from the camera shots, it made it seem like he was just coming down that road, and before he goes to turn to get to the drill site, that's when he banked into the vehicle that was there.
It's one of theirs. So why was he driving there at night?
Why that fast? Why that fast if you're turning in? Yeah.
Yeah, like. And again, I guess you wouldn't have to be going that fast to do the damage to a pickup truck that is completely stopped, because you're not expecting that. But they made it seem like this guy was like on a highway, like doing 55 miles an hour, and smashes into a pickup that isn't moving. So a little confusing. I don't think you'd be going that fast. That's the fastest thing in this episode, though.
Yeah. That is true. It
is the fastest thing.
The only thing, before we move on, it looks like there was somebody who was already unalive in the vehicle.
Yes.
So there's that. We get
like
a little.
Like they had taken the hose, plugged it into the back because it looked like the back window was all taped up. unalive themselves.
Yeah. So either someone did it for this person or they did it themselves. But that's a whole other side story, and I'm pretty sure Tommy doesn't know about this. That was never brought up, at least on Tommy's end, right?
No, it never gets brought up to Tommy. It only gets brought up to Rebecca.
Yep, only to Rebecca.
And they never address anything more. So I'm assuming this will probably lead right into episode 5. Tommy bitching at Rebecca. Why wouldn't you tell me? You call me on this stuff, right? Like that's what
it's drunk. That's why she's got her other issues. Now she's got to go take some kind of tests and stuff. She doesn't know if they were using protection. That's a whole other thing. We will get to that. But really quick, then after that, we jump into Ariana at the bar. She's hanging out at the front. Bartender comes out. I was getting weird vibes from this because I wasn't sure if he's just genuinely being nice, or is he trying to make a move on her? But basically says, hey, what did you get? What? Go ahead.
I didn't think so at all. At first, I guess when he first went over there, because I didn't notice who it was at first, but then he asked, like, we out for a smoke? And she's like, just the opposite, out for some fresh air. And he told her, he said, don't count that money out here.
Yeah. Well, people watching you and stuff, that should be a no-brainer. But then again, this is her first job, so there goes that. We also confirmed, just before I forget, it's called The Patch. That's the name of this bar and grill place. It's The Patch. Long story short, he says, can you come back 2 nights a week at least, because she has a baby, there's no one else, and she's not even sure if she wants a job. But he's like, when you count that money back inside in the office, she starts to give 20% to the bar backs. That's the policy. We all know. Well, not everybody, but most people know how that works. So I wasn't sure if they were going to bring that up.
He gives something back.
Yeah, you have to give many moons did similar work. But
bus boys, bar backs,
Yep, exactly. But we never find out how much she made that night. I was really curious to find out, but we definitely know there's some high rollers, as he brought up. He was like, hey, there's people depending on the good nights, bad nights, but if they're hitting oil, every night's a good night. Because she was like, well, Friday, Saturdays, right? No, it could be anything. But it sounds like she's good for those 2 days.
Yeah, he said when the oil's flowing, every day is a Friday.
Makes
sense because that's all those, again, that's all the people working in those oil fields are going to do, right?
Yep. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting, at least for me, and we'll bring this up real quick. There's a lot going on here, people. We had some images, we got some audios. I'm sure there's going to be discussions, especially for you guys out there who have been in relationships that have been a little, let's say, complicated. But she shows up at the house, like 2 a.m, right? 2, 3 months. She said this when she got out of the bar. It was very late. So we're just assuming early morning. And we see Cooper, and he's sleeping out on her porch. You brought this up.
Not even on the porch. He's sleeping on the driveway against the garage, like in the little corner.
Hobo style. Somebody should call the cops.
Yes.
There is no need for that. The dude showed up in a pickup truck. I'm sure the seats recline. He could have just been hanging out. No, he wants to be very dramatic with this whole thing. She even brings it up. Why are you doing this? It's dumb. But
it wasn't like she wouldn't have seen his truck, because she did. She would have looked inside. He could have just been laying in his truck, windows down, whatever. And then she basically says, what are you doing here, acting like a stalker, which, again,
yeah.
And he says, I need my coat. Now, she doesn't know yet that his grandmother has passed away.
No. Yeah. Here's the other part with this. He didn't even ask where she was at that point. You would think, I'm just saying for myself, first, I wouldn't be sleeping there. I would have stayed in the car, but if I would have come out, I'm like, hey, by the way, it's none of my business. We broke up. I get it, but you do have the little boy. Little boy's now with you. Where did you go? If it's another guy, that's all you got to say. I'm not going to ask questions.
Okay,
he doesn't ask.
But Cooper is like, you told me to leave. I left. You dumped me. What you do is you, and I will deal with my feelings on my own. Like, this guy has the greatest boundaries of all. Like, these are the boundaries that you're telling me. Now, she acts like, I'm sorry, if you have kids, earmuffs, she acts like the biggest bitch to him.
Woo.
All right? She dumped him. She told him to leave when, again, she dumps him after he strikes oil, tells him to throw away his boots that he needs. Now he's rich, and then says, we need to break up. He wakes up the next morning on the couch, and she says, I think you need to move out. Like, good Lord, you broke up with me like 4 hours ago. I can't even wake up without you telling me to get out.
Yeah, what's it like for? It was definitely within the early part of that day. Definitely, right? Because remember, she just got off work and that was her first shift. So we're continuing from the last episode. So yeah, it's all within and under 24 hours, this whole thing. But she gives this whole speech about this stuff. And he explains.
Oh, no, we've had a few. No, it's been a few days since. It's been at least a week since they split up, I would say. Not long, though. Not long.
Has it been a week? Well, yeah, because he did say, well, maybe a day or two, because that was the whole issue with Ainsley, right? She didn't want him sleeping on the couch, that he was going to smell the whole thing. But yeah, he was confused by it. But then he mentions that he has this funeral, and it's the grandmother. But then let's just play this audio and then get into it.
It's fine.
You were there for me. I'll be there for you.
Like I said, I didn't know her to miss her.
You don't want me to go?
I want you everywhere.
Then give me 5 minutes.
Are they back together? Was that it? That's all he had to do is say, hey, listen, I'm dealing with some issue with my grandma. Oh, you're going to come with me? Oh, that's right. I was there for you because, yeah, I was there when your husband died. I worked with him. I had to be there. It was a group thing. But I get it.
All right. First off, she gives him some crap about him needing the jacket, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gives him some crap.
She thought it was about, that was like money. She throws that again. It's about some big meeting, money.
Yeah. So, and then he tells her, and then she's like, oh, well, give me 5 minutes, I'll go. And like she goes through the whole thing, and then when he says, I didn't know her enough to miss her, and then it's like, oh, so you don't want me to go? Like, you dumped him. You told him to leave.
Yeah.
But because he didn't fight for you when you specifically told him to leave. Again, we don't do this as men, but women will do this. That's why I heard a comedian recently say the Riddler never should have been a man. It should have been a woman. Because when was the last time a man knew something you didn't and didn't tell you?
Yeah. It's definitely, and it's not just us, people. This was also on the show earlier, like 2 episodes before. Was it the last one when Tommy was giving advice to Cooper, remember? And he said, he was like, Nick, when she comes around, whatever she wants to do, you go with it, you listen to her, and then you just do it. It has to be done. That's just how it works, and it is complicated. Now, as we know, he's not, from what we're gathering from, he hasn't had many relationships. He doesn't understand a lot of these things. There is a game, whether people say it or not, the whole dating relationship, there's a game, there is a process. TL brings it up later as well.
And Cooper is, again, Cooper is very naive because it sounds like he hasn't been in many relationships, but he's doing what we all want to do. But since we all know how the game of being involved with a woman is, and not all women,
not all.
Women.
There's a
reason why I've been single for a decade. No,
there you go.
It's like he doesn't know. He's doing what you're told, right? If your boss says, go out in the shop and get that thing done, you go out and get it done. You don't ask questions. You say, okay.
Yeah.
She said leave. He leaves. You didn't even fight for me. Oh, wait. We'll get into that later on.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So then it's a lot. And I'm sure people put in the comments, what we're talking about here. We're really not trying to pass too much judgment, but we definitely know we've been through the art of dating. There is a process. There's stuff that goes on back and forth. Cooper doesn't want to play this game, but it's because he doesn't know. He doesn't understand how this works. The communication stuff. He took everything very literal. Like, it's over, get out. Okay. Yeah, and then she brings up why, which I guess makes sense because that's building a conversation, but he didn't understand that. So, but anyway, we jump over back at the house. Tommy, Cooper, Dale, Nate. Again, why is Nate and Cooper, Nate and Dale going along with the family to this funeral? Whatever, they're doing it.
They've been working with him for years, so that I totally understand, right? Like, hey, you know what? You're not just our boss. You're our friend. And you probably don't want to be alone with that crazy woman that you call your friend.
Maybe if it was close, maybe if we're within the same town and stuff. But think about it: if you were Dale or Nate, would you do that 7-hour drive?
They don't have family there. They're all there for a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. No, I'm sorry. I'm not driving 7 hours with your crazy wife and your annoying daughter.
Yeah, it just doesn't really make much sense with the whole thing. But hey, they say they're gonna go and tag along. They're gonna do this road trip for their buddy.
Again, so this is where, in my opinion, time has no meaning in TV shows, right? Reacher flying from New Jersey to California and then back within that day, yet not happening.
Yeah.
Again, 2 episodes ago, where Cooper calls Tommy and says, "Hey, I need to talk to you." Well, I just something. No, I need to talk to you today. Girl or personal or business, both.
Yeah.
Where are you? Okay, that's an hour away. I'll be there. There's a 7-hour drive down to see, his dad. He takes an hour out of his way to go pick up Cooper, and then they drive down, and then they got to drive back.
Well, they also went to the funeral home first.
Yeah.
Remember, that was the whole other thing. Yeah, time. But you know what? Let's get into it because there's a lot of time. But we got Rebecca. She gets the call. She's getting ready to get on the plane because remember, she has to go to that location for the offshore and all the stuff. She gets a call from, I don't remember this guy, or he's just another person.
That's the sheriff.
That is a sheriff. There you go.
Yeah, Sheriff Wald. He calls basically explaining, your truck driver hit a guy, but it sounds like he was already gone. But your truck driver also didn't make it. So good that this guy had already taken his own life. The guy in the truck, but not good for the semi. They're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
But then she gets on the plane, and that's where she starts finding out.
What we find out that she has issues with not having control, and that's what's going on here.
Are we just finding this out? Because I feel like we knew she had control issues.
I mean, there's always a trigger for everyone. Everybody has something. Remember, everybody knows Indiana Jones. Remember his thing? He's snakes. He can deal with everything else but snakes. And this is it. So her thing is she needs constant control. And when she's on the plane, she doesn't have that control. Understandable. A lot of people feel, which is true. Our lives are no longer in our hands at that point. She sits alongside this British gentleman. We never get his name, right? But we do know he works in the oil business.
IMDb.
Nope, there you go. It's a secret. We'll find out. I think it's going to play a big part later on, just like all characters on the show. I don't think this is a one-off. I don't think it's one of those situations. Yeah. I think this is going to relate to, because he says he's part of the oil business. So anyway, this plane says that they're going to do some kind of, they're going to hit some turbulence, heavy winds, right? They're talking about some 70 miles. 70 mile out. That's crazy.
And
that's crazy
a small plane. Well, I mean, it's a jet, but I mean, it's still.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, well, there goes that. She's going to get ready, and then we'll get into what happens there. But then quickly we jump over to Cami. We see Cami. She heads over to the funeral, the cemetery, I should say, to see Monty.
And she also says about listing the house. She's ready to move
That's
on.
Later on. Yeah. That comes after this visit.
On?
Yeah, because remember, it's when she gets back to the house. After she has the whole conversation with everything. And then, we'll get into that. But right here at this point, she goes over, she brings a cigar, she brings some booze. We don't drink. We've talked about this, you guys know. So I don't know exactly what it is, maybe a whiskey or something. But she says, hey, I can't leave this bottle here for obvious reasons, but I could pour this out. So she pours one for her homie, her husband here, and that's it. She said she found that ring, right? It was like a 30th anniversary ring or something.
Yeah.
At first when she said, I found this ring, and she was like, it's not my size, so I guess it was for someone else. That's what I thought she was gonna say, but no. I
thought something about, because she thought he was actually not just cheating, but just that he had mistresses, right?
Of course. I mean, that's what all these rich dudes, right?
Yeah,
that's what
I was waiting for, I found this, but it was for this, I'm like, this guy, he wasn't cheating, it doesn't sound like, right?
No.
She thought that she was going to find. She didn't find anything other than that he's been robbing from Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's one of those, and there's plenty of these that we hear that they're very shady or shrewd businessmen and cutthroat. But when it comes to family, they're 100%. And that's what it sounded like here. He was all about his wife, his kids, but yeah, he'll screw over everybody else. So yeah, that was an interesting scene right there, because I thought, as we saw in the last episode, where she just burst out screaming about all, just the frustration when she was alone in the house and crying, and then we heard the wolves or whatever crying along with her. That was memorable right there. Right. I thought she was gonna this was it. I was like, she's gonna go in a whole monologue. How dare you do this? Why'd you do this? You know what I mean? Just vent at him.
She
and
kind of does. She said, I want to be mad at you. And I know people that have lost loved ones for whatever reason. And they don't know how to handle it. I think a lot of people, when they lose someone, especially if they feel like they've done it to themselves, they're scared to say that they're mad at them, because in their mind, that means that you're saying that you don't love them, and that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Again, this is, in my opinion, this is a lead up. This is a lead up episode. They're getting out all the sadness. They got to take their time. So, like, hey, we're already having a funeral for Tommy's mom. Why don't we also incorporate, everything that Cami's going through too, with the loss of Monty.
Yeah. We get a quick scene back on the plane. This is when it starts making this really big revving noise, right? It's like it's doing that whole thing. She's not understanding what's going on. The guy next to her just says, hey, this is how they take off because of the short runway. So it's going to be like a big burst. It's going to get any louder really fast. And she's like, okay. And she starts getting a little nervous. But man, that explosion, that kick, and we see it, and it goes up, and she's screaming, and it's like stuff is flying everywhere. I have an issue with this scene. Yeah, I can understand her reaction perfectly fine. But when I start hearing all the glasses and things falling around, you would think the flight attendants would know better.
Secured everything.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, just like when we've all been on flights, it's like, hey, we're about to take off, trays up, no loose articles. They walk around, they check whole thing. You would think they would do something like that.
Yeah.
But whatever. It just makes for good TV. And I think that's why they did that, because it went along with the reaction. She's screaming. He says, hey, don't worry about it. He was like, you just put your hand on my knee and squeeze. She's like, why would I do that? He's like, because you're crushing my hand. That was funny. They show it. It's like, okay. I was expecting you whatever. It was funny though. I enjoyed it, but she was definitely terrified. And now we know what's going on here. So if this show goes on for 8, 9, 10 seasons, and somebody ever wants to get under her skin about something, send her on a plane ride. That's it. Say, hey, we got to meet somewhere. Oh, I'll drive. We can't drive. Sorry. We got to take a plane, and just make sure it's a fast plane.
Like B.A. Baracus or something.
Oh, yes. Shout out to the ATBA. He was always getting drugged. He would have all these needle marks on the back of his neck for all the time that Hannibal just injected or face. I mean, they were always injecting him or drugging him.
His milk.
Oh, if he ever went for a drug test, his piss would never come back clean. That's all I'm saying. That dude was
You're right about that.
Right? He was constantly. Oh, man. All right, so we get into the car, right? It's party time, road trip, right? Everybody's happy. This was not, though they were not happy here. So they're in the car, and well, go ahead. You could bring up this.
Well, I think Tommy just wants to get there, and then you have Angela, who's always trying to lighten the mood about something, unless if she's mad. And basically, they lose signal in their car because of how far they are. Now they're in this vehicle for 7 hours together. And during this time, basically, Tommy and her kind of go back and forth, and she gets aggravated about the loss of the radio, and then everything's staticky. Yep, so she asks about, hey, I have playlists. Who wants yacht rock? I forget what the other ones were.
Yeah, she brought it was.
And so then Nate starts laughing, and Nate says something to the effect of like, something with the irony, and she's like, well, what is it, Neil? Now I think the Neil thing is kind of funny, because he says, my name is Nate, and she says, yeah, I know what your name is, Neil.
And Ainsley also calls him Neil.
Yes, so he's about to explain it, because she's like, why don't you explain it then? And finally, Nate, I feel, is the one that will speak up until people go, no. So you have Dale say, I don't think this is a good idea. And then when Ainsley reaches up and says, it's a trap, don't do it. He just backs off, and she's like, "Okay, good job, Neil." So they agree on yacht rock. I'm sorry. By this point, this is where Tommy needs to go. All right, Angela, that's enough. He doesn't like it. It's not funny. He lives. He lives. You're the one living here with us. You need to have some respect for him.
She does not respect him. That she
No,
doesn't.
not at all. And he puts up with a lot of crap. So does Dale. Well, I don't think Dale really cares that much. So when they have to eat the real bad food.
But then this happens. Let's play this.
Jeez. I mean, look at you sad Sally's in the back.
Honey, we're driving to a fucking funeral.
I know where we're going. It doesn't mean that the drive can't be pleasant.
It can't be pleasant. We're driving to a fucking funeral.
If you're not careful, they're gonna be burying someone else. That son of a bitch, you talk to me like that.
Oh boy, road trips, right? Gotta love them. You gotta love them. They definitely have an interesting relationship, and the fact that even Dale and Nate would even want to join this, we just went over that. It's like, why? You know, even if they're boss, come on now. But
well, I mean, they're friends and they've worked together for years. I fully understand that. I also understand your point of like that's a 7-hour trip, but that's all they have is they only have each other, to be honest. So I do understand. Well, it's a 7-hour drive one way. So yeah.
You know, but they get there. We see Cooper and Ariana. They're the first to arrive. And that was one of the other things that I found funny, though, when Ariana agreed to go. She was like, how long is this 7-hour drive? All right, wake me up after 5. So that means he did all the driving. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I mean, I don't know. I
Oh well, you're big into driving, but you take stuff. So I'm assuming he would have taken some stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I drove straight to 9 hours.
Yeah.
To your town. I've driven down to Joe Fest, which is a 14-hour drive twice now. I've driven to Florida 4 times, 3 times.
Holy moly!
The full way on my own. So yeah, I don't really think too much of 7 hours.
Right. Well, they get there to the funeral home. You got TL sitting there. Hey, how you doing? There you go. He sees the Ariana first. He's like, this is not your sister. It's like, oh no. You know, it's interesting with this because he analyzes them, but doesn't ask a lot of questions. So he just
nails it.
Yes, and he nails it, because he's like, oh, you must really like his guy. Something to that effect. You got him. And she's like, no, I'm not with him. And it's like, oh, whoa. So you do these long trips with people you don't like? Like, no, this is my first time. It's like, oh, all right. And then he notices Cooper's not saying anything, really. And so he knows that, all right, she's got all the cards right now. With whatever's happening with them, she's the one that's in control of how it's going to progress.
And so the speech that he gives, like the piece of advice, it was really good because it fit both of their both of what's going on. Like he's basically telling Cooper, hey, if she doesn't want to be with you, do not waste your time trying to chase her down. Let her go and move on. And then he's telling her, hey, if this is who you need to be with, this is who you want to be with, stop it.
Well, that was later on. Yeah, that was like when he was telling the story about his wife. That really applied to them. That was back at later in the diner.
I thought he said something during that too.
Because here, once he said that, then he started saying the whole thing. It was like, oh, she's too pretty for you, something like that. And then even like, she's too smart, right? And then the whole family show up. Remember, they just maybe like a few minutes after that they show up and they're all there. And he's talking about Ainsley. Last time he saw her, she was little, and Angela never ages. And who are these guys in the background? They say who they are. He says, but still, who are you to this? Like, why are you even here? Tommy said, oh, these are my coworkers. Oh, they work for me. That's what he said. So he's like, I guess they're here for emotional support. Not like you need it, but that's that whole scene there. Yeah. So that came up, right? And then they head off to the funeral. Well, did they? Is that where we're at? Yeah.
They go to the funeral. It's a very short. Like you don't see very much. You just kind of see them all walking there. There's not a lot of emotion.
Yeah, not a lot of emotion at all. To the point that even the priest that's there, he's like, "You have any words to say?" He tells TL, yeah. Well, he asked TL, and TL's like, "Not to you." I was like, "Well, yeah, well, to God, I already told God, He knows." Oh boy, really? Is this your first time going to a funeral, buddy? Because he asked Ariana about that, and she was like, "No," and I'm sure for him, because he even said it during that time. So for him to come out with these snarky remarks, I get you're upset, you're frustrated, but come on now. If that's the case, why did you even bring a priest? You don't even.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that goes to everything. How Tommy explained him, the way he's acted. We've seen how he acts towards the orderlies. He's just this angry old guy.
Angry old guy. The orderly's also there. You pointed that out. He never talks in this one.
I just noticed somebody pushing the wheelchair, even though he's able to walk. So
He's able to walk. That is true. He did walk
for short bits, short amounts of time. But Tommy does later on talk about how he'd be gone for a year at a time, not coming home.
That was wild.
So he's literally beating up his body, and he's in his 80s here.
Is he supposed to be? They don't really go into it. Now we brought this up. There was other people everywhere saying that the Sam Elliott, the actor, and Billy Bob, they're only like a few years apart. There's really not that much of a gap. But it's called acting. But also we brought this up while watching this. As from our time with just experiencing Sam Elliott on the big screen and seeing him, he's always looked old. He's always had gray hair, right? This is just who he is. It's like Steve Martin has always had gray. I don't know him without the gray hair. I understand.
In The Jerk, which I believe is a 1982 movie, he looks the exact same as he does now. And Sam Elliott was gray in Roadhouse, which is around 87, 88. And I thought he was old back then.
Yeah. He's old. Well, he always looked old. Maybe he went gray early. Should look that up, maybe. But I know with Steve Martin, now it's his situation. Said he went gray young. But yeah, the whole family, you see him afterwards, they head out, they go out to eat, they have their discussions. This is where they're just talking about life and stuff. And Ariana again chimes in. I was like, how come no one's talking about your wife, your mom? What's going on?
I want to say this. So far in this show, they have nailed the dichotomy of how different ethnic backgrounds are different. How different ethnic backgrounds celebrate family, right? Like she's Hispanic, right? She's Mexican. They are very close knit. They all live right around each other. They all help each other out. So like they're nailing that. And again, I can tell you from my buddy Tony, he's lives in Arizona. Parents are Mexican. He moved back in with them to help take care of them. The sister was there till she passed away. This is their family. This is how, and not all of them. Before someone leaves a comment, it's not like, oh, hey, I'm Mexican, I can say this. But I mean,
there you go.
It's part of how their culture is. And his is completely different. They're a mess.
It's definitely different. And that's what he brings up. He tells his crazy story that, what was it, when he was 14, he came home and he found his mom naked, face down in the tub. He pulled her out. He called 911, did CPR, the whole thing. She spit up a bunch of water. She looked at him like she didn't know him and kicked him in the face. I'm assuming broke his nose. Right, because he said, it pushed the nose in back of my head. My dad was out drilling or doing whatever he does with the oil thing, so he was never around. And we find out later that this is how he handled things. He just disappeared for a time.
And this is where Tommy left. Tommy left, left her at 14.
Yeah,
filled up the backpack of everything that I could fit in there, which isn't very much of everything I owned and left. Doesn't explain where he went or anything like that.
Well, that's the thing. So how old do we think Tommy is? He's got to be 60s The character, not the Billy Bob, but the character, right?
60s. So I
Right,
mean,
60s.
14.
So that is a big jump there to say, all right, you skip out, and that's the last time he's ever set foot in that town till last week when he went to visit his dad. That is huge. I mean, come on. Like, we sort of hear that, but here's where it doesn't add up unless it's through pictures, because TL back at the funeral home, when he saw Ainsley, he was like, oh, I haven't seen you since you were like this high. Basically saying she was a little kid.
Well, they never said that TL wasn't able to travel and go elsewhere.
No, I get that. I get that.
He got in the oil business, so he was probably traveling around.
Could be.
He was also in the oil business.
Yep. But Tommy never went back, and it makes sense. That's how he got into business from his dad. But right before he steps out, right, this is when he comes up with this little remark to Oriana.
To mourn her passing, honey. I came here to celebrate it.
He didn't come to mourn; he came to celebrate.
This is very rude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rude for the fact that this is what you're saying. Now, with that said, I want people to understand this. I lost my mom when I was 13, and when I would hear someone say they hate their mom or dad, I would lose it. So I started realizing that what other people experience is not the same thing I experienced. I never met my ex's mom. We were together for 14 years. My kids never met her or anything. This is a horrible woman, and my ex had never had a contact. I get a text from her after we had split up, 10 years after we split up, a couple years ago, stating mother dearest died. And I messaged her and I said, how are you doing? And she's like, I'm fine. I just want to get my pictures back. That's how she felt. Yeah. She went there to go get her pictures, and that's all she cared about. Because again, I will say this again, we are not supposed to be there for our parents. Our parents are supposed to be there for us. Our kids are not supposed to be here for us. We're supposed to be here for our kids.
Yeah, it is rough. It is rough. But then this goes to your point also with the whole thing with Cami going with the family, right? This all links. Why is she doing what she's going to do? Because we see a part where she wakes up and she tells her assistant we're selling the house.
Yes.
Because we do know there's a trust that Monty left for the kids and stuff, but we don't know how much is in there, what's going on. But she's like, there's no need for this big house. Either way, she knows she can get a good amount for that house. She's putting that up for sale.
And Cami had said, like, it's not about the money. I want my husband's name. I want there to be a legacy with my husband's name. And obviously you don't want it like this. She wants something where it's like when people remember Monty, that name, that the Millers, they did this, they did that. So she, again, you can move to places and still have a nice, live nicely. Not so much like that.
Yeah. And speaking of names, we got Danny over here, right? Who has two names. Now, a bunch of you guys put in the comments. Thank you. This is why we ask you guys to comment, so if you figure things out or you can fill in the blanks for us, and you guys did. So if the end of season 1, when Tommy was captured by some cartel guys, there was someone who showed up who helped. Galamo, or I'm blanking on his last name. I only wrote his first name. We know it's Danny, but anyway, that was not the name of the guy of Andy Garcia, the character he played. That is not the same name he gives in this season, and it hasn't been brought up yet. And that's what's throwing me off. I remember seeing a guy there, but the name didn't register with me. So when we saw this one, when Andy showed up here and they had a different name, I'm like, oh, well, it's just a different character. When they had the meeting, when Tommy and Danny met in the office, Tommy didn't bring it up. But then again, Danny did say, hey, every breath you're breathing is thanks to me. Should have picked up there. It would have been great if the show maybe did some little callbacks, maybe bring it up. Hell, even a splash screen or something. It didn't come up. So I'm still confused by that. Maybe they'll bring it up. Maybe he has one name that he gives when he's doing business, with the cartel and all that stuff. And then when he's doing the clean business, as he describes with the oil, this is when he's using the Danny. Go.
So what did they say his name was in the last episode? Because
I should have brought this up. I had it.
It's not on IMDb, but it does show that he's in 4 episodes of Landman.
Yes. Man, I'm seeing those same people like Adam, we told you, and I'm blanking on it, and I have
Okay,
all these notes in front of me.
Okay, so his name is Galino.
Galino is Danny Galino. That's what he's using now. That is not the name he used in
Well,
season 1.
Does he actually use the name? Or is he just Galino? Do they even say what his name is?
That's a good question.
We need to
That's
go
a
back
good
and watch
question.
that and
Yeah,
see.
we definitely gotta watch
Because I'm
that.
looking at season 2 here, the Crumbs of Hope, season 1, episode 10. It says
Mhm.
Galino is his name. It's only saying for Landman that his name is Galino, and usually if they play two characters, they'll have a
Yeah,
flash. So we'll have to go back and watch. Maybe they never say his name, but we do know that
maybe that's true. That's true. Maybe they changed the name. They just decided not to go with that name, and it was like that's why it wasn't addressed because they're like, we didn't bring it up and we changed it, or for whatever reason. But either way, it is the same character. So thanks to all of you. There was so many people that started sending me messages like, "Oh, it's this guy. It's this guy." No one's mean about it, just throwing it out there, and that's what we asked for again. That we're all watching it together, and we can fill in some things for you. You fill in some for us, and then we just keep going with it. Part of this conversation, though, it looks like she's ready to do business. Now, she doesn't know the backstory with Tommy and Danny. She doesn't know any of it. And it's interesting because she's saying, all right, listen, you invest in drillers, right? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that's what I do. Okay, good. I got this offshore. We already have the gas. Everything is good. We need to get there 90 days. Got to do this. All right, how much you need? 350 million. 350 million. Shouldn't Tommy be making this deal? She's like, well, this is my company. And then he looks around. They did this interesting shot. I told you while we were watching this, it was like a far out shot. You see a window. I saw a pickup truck. I know the timing wouldn't make sense. It's not Reacher time where they just fly in one spot the other. But I was expecting to see Tommy walk out, like, hey, I just found out from your receptionist that you're here meeting. Blah, blah. But no, it wasn't. It was a different pickup truck. But he says, hey, listen. Do you know about snakes? And he starts talking about snakes and rabbits and all this stuff. He's a snake.
Snakes are cannibals.
Yeah, snakes are cannibals. He's a snake. Tommy is a snake. They go, well, like Tommy. It's called Tommy. You're saying Tommy? He's like, no, he's more like a hawk. The whole point is, and it's not because you're a woman. It's just that this is something that we should be handling.
But see, I do like the fact that he clears it up. It has nothing to do with you being a woman not making a deal with you.
Of course,
but he's saying you are not a snake like the rest of us. You are left in a horrible position by your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in his own mind doing the honorable thing. We're going to take care of you, but I want to deal with Tommy because he knows Tommy will do what he feels is best for Cami and the family.
Definitely, but he also knows that going forward, it's always going to be working with Tommy. You know what I mean? Like this is a one-off. Yeah, okay, fine. We meet here and we talk, but I know from here on, if we do shake hands and make a deal, it's Tommy that I'm dealing with. Right. And so with the backstory that he has with Tommy, like you said earlier, and we said it, and he in that whole scene, it's like every breath you take, thanks to me. This is something he can put over him.
All right. So right before everyone's leaving the restaurant to go back home after the funeral.
Yeah.
Tommy tells Cooper, I need to see you tomorrow. He says, I'll call you. No, I need to see you in person. Could this be next episode? Tommy meets with Cooper and he explains, this is the person that you're doing business with. This is how I know him.
Yes.
So maybe this is where they finally explain who Galino is. Hey, he saved my life. He now feels that I owe him a debt. This is how he's kind of trapping me. We need to figure out a way to get out of this. I guess we'll find out next episode, but I'm interested because he specifically says, I need to see you. Not I'll call you.
Yeah. I need to see you. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Maybe that's when he spills the beans and it's like, hey, this is everything that's going on. A lot happening.
Would clear up a lot. It would clear up a lot. Remember, when people are writing these shows, they're not writing thinking, hey, these yahoos on YouTube, and not just us, but other people are going to break things down. Back in the day, you would wonder what's going on. And that would keep you in suspense to the next week when the show would come out, and maybe this is what they're doing, right? You're keeping this.
Yeah.
We're too busy talking about it, trying to figure it out and replay and everything.
Yeah,
Rather
but
than just kind of letting it happen.
Yep. Well, while that's happening, again, we still got all the other stuff going on. There was back at the diner during that, after Tommy stormed out saying that little piece, we also had where TL just tells his story, meeting the mom. She was 17. He doesn't say he was 17. She was 17. Talks about going on a drive, sprinklers.
Who else is singing the song now?
She's only 17. 17. Oh, that song would get that whole group would get canceled by now. Are you kidding?
Today, all right.
What? They would be boycotted. Oh man.
For good reason too. All right.
Yeah. Wasn't that was Winger, right? I think that was Winger. All right, because I always get Winger and Warrant with Cherry Pie mixed up. When
that's
it comes
another
to
one that really probably should not pull over today.
Would not fly. Oh boy, please people,
Anyone,
go ahead, look up those songs.
Hair metal anyway. All right, that's on you for listening to that.
How about this? I just got my Spotify wrap-up report, and it says my musical taste is of a 73-year-old. Okay, that's what it told me. Just saying, But anyway, he starts talking about how they were driving by some sprinklers and with the light shining and there's rainbows. They had to pull over. She jumps out. She starts dancing and the whole thing. And he was always hoping for that to come back. And it never happened. It never happened. 60 years for her to come back. That's a long time to wait for someone who has changed.
Yes, it is.
But it doesn't come back. Angela goes outside, says, "Hey, Tommy, we just heard this really sad story from your dad. You need to talk." Yeah, I know about the dancing rainbows, and that's where we get the title of the episode. I know about it. I don't care. She was horrible, and I don't need this in my life. So that was deep though. But at least we know that he knows this story.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, well, I've never heard this. Again, we're gonna find out real shortly that he does understand the reasoning. I tell my kids all the time. I tell everyone. I go, there are reasons and there are excuses.
Yeah.
Don't make an excuse. It may be the reason. I'm not as in good shape as I used to be, or not as muscular as I used to be, because I'm just busy and I don't really have time to go to the gym. That's the reason. It's not an excuse. It's just the reason. And I choose not to. I choose not to. I could make it happen, right? So
got to get jacked, man, every day. That's it. Got to go. But real quick, we got a quick jump with Rebecca. She's on the plane with the guy. Now she's pissed drunk. It's hitting the turbulence, as the pilot said, on the descent, and she's all happy. She's jumping around. Everything is cool. That's when we got to the whole part where I just said about the Cami situation, which is it's very interesting to see how that pans out. Because again, we got a few stories going on. We got the issue with the truck driver who's dead. That's going to be a whole mess. We got Rebecca who's on site with this guy here, and more stuff happens. I'm sure that's going to play another part. We have everything going on now with Cami dealing with Danny. That's a whole other business operation. And then we have the family dynamic for Tommy.
That's happening here. Crew that we're going to talk about shortly.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead.
I'm quickly reading my notes here. We did forget that Ariana, she basically lays down the rules with Cooper. She asked.
The next one. Yeah, that's once they get home. Yeah, once they do, because that's right. The next scene, once they got home.
Well, yeah, she asked them to come in. They talk, and she says something to the extent of, "You didn't even fight for me. You just left. You told me to leave. You broke up with me. You told me the next morning. Like, you didn't even give me. You said you shouldn't be here. What is he supposed to do? This is your house. You guys didn't buy the house together. You didn't find it. He moved in after your husband. After you lost your husband."
Yeah. Well, I get what she's saying with one part, and just remember this. When he came in, hey, we got all this money. We're going to be rich. It's going to be a great life. She says, hey, my whole family's here. My son's family's all here. This is my home. I can't leave.
She didn't explain explain that. Like, hey,
but I'm trying to remember. Maybe I should have rewatched that also because she's saying, at least in this scene, that after she said that, he didn't give any other option. He just got up and walked out. So in her eyes, she was dumped because he could have just said, all right, well, we don't have to leave.
She could watch the episode and see how she dumped him then.
Yeah.
Or the cameraman could just tell her.
Yeah, the cameraman would say, well, this is what really happened. But
like in the office when they're like,
oh yeah, they look at
like,
the camera. Yeah. Like this is you know what? If this show takes off, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a spoof version, like that type of thing. Yeah, I could definitely see it, like the paper and all that.
But basically, Ariana lays down the law. She lays down the rules.
Mhm.
If I'm mad at you, you deal with it and you don't leave. But if you get mad, no, you don't get to do that. You get to apologize to me, even though I'm mad.
Well, you go out, figure that out, figure it out, and then figure out what you did wrong, and then come back, and then
she basically just told you, I'm never going to be wrong. You will always be wrong. Can you accept that? Cooper seems like the type that would just be like, yeah, sure. At this age, I'd be like,
it's
goodbye.
This age.
You weren't that good.
This is his first serious relationship. This is a lot. I think this is too much for him. My son, when he becomes of age, I'm going to tell him there's certain things, especially in a situation like this, it's very complicated. Like we just said, we know the story with the husband passing, a co-worker. We get it. The whole community sees something wrong with this relationship. Remember, for a while, they thought that it's kind of odd that he was the only one that survived. Maybe this was his end goal. Maybe he's a sicko in the head, get everybody else killed. So you take the guy's wife because he was boom in there like the next few days, right? Doing all this stuff.
Again, I mean, I told you, same thing happened with my dad and his wife.
Yeah. No. We see it all the time.
It does happen, but again,
it does happen. Definitely does happen.
For me, my age, I'm sorry. You're gonna lay down laws like that. I'm gone. I'm too old to deal with that. But hey, you know what? It seems like Cooper's like, hey, I found someone that's hot. Just remember this, people, especially the younger people watching right now. There is a saying, someone somewhere is sick of her shit. Just remember that.
Yeah, there's always something. Yeah, but there's also plenty fish in the sea, right? That's the other thing. It's like if one goes, there's another one coming. Don't stress out. Don't stress out. But you know who can't stress out? Terrell can stress out because he's over at the hospital. Now, if you forget, this is the guy who got the gas. Was it the H2S that went in his face? Right? Was that right? Right? It was the toxic that's in the area. So we see Theodore, Ben, Mustafa. They go to visit. They talk to the doctor. Doctor says, "Hey, it's too early to tell. He's gonna have all kinds of problems."
Yeah,
right
H2S.
now H2S. He's gonna have all kinds of issues going on. How severe? We don't know. Time will tell. Where's his family? His family's not here. We're all he has. Can we go talk to him? Yeah, maybe a little bit. They go in there. And at no point did the doctor say his eyes were bandaged and that he couldn't see, right? I
think it was a shock that they didn't know that because the nurse was taking it off.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing. So they're taking it off, right? Because they said he can talk, so he can talk, and he's like, "All right, great. Oh, you guys here, boss? You here? Oh, this is great." And then they take off the wrapping. It's like, I can't see anything, right? Did they take the wrapping off? They did. He's feeling, oh, what the hell? I can't see. And they're like, "Hey, your eyes are swollen. There was toxins and stuff. You got to give it time." "No, man, they make a life. I have my kids and family. I got to support." He starts freaking out. Understandable. This is tragic. What happens here? This is going to be a whole other issue because they already have that one death from the truck driver, right? Yep. That's going to be a whole thing. And then now they work for Tommy. If this ends up being a situation where he can't work anymore, then there's a big lawsuit right there because they were sent out there. It wasn't like they were just, hanging around and then it happened off hours. They were sent there by Tommy and this took place. So when Dale and Nate were talking about money.
Unless if they walked over and where those guys were hunting, that wasn't their property.
Yeah.
They crossed over there. That could be it. Although I guess the wind does travel, but they can't really help that. I still ask the question: Why did they not grab the mask and someone run something up to him and be like, here you go?
That's a whole other thing, and then it'll come up. But the question here is just how many lawsuits we have going on with the trucker, and now this situation here. And when we
You're
saw
insurance
Dale and
reform.
Nate talking about all this money that they could definitely make once they clean up, it's going to take 2 years, right? They said to clean everything up. It's still going to get complicated. This is going to be a big story. And then, as we saw before, I think it's Theodore. That's the boss here who was talking already. But he's not sure if he wants to do this. He's got a family and all this stuff. It was very tricky with all the stuff that was going on here. But man, that was that. We had a quick little meeting with Tommy and Ainsley. Ainsley's sad about the way the mom treated him, that horror story, kick him in the face, the whole thing. And he's like, don't worry about it. There's no point in getting sad about it. She's gone. You're never going to see her.
This is truly how I feel in real life when I talk about this stuff, is that he explains, the whole that he had a sister. She died of SIDS at 4 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it broke her. And she says, well, that's no excuse. And he said, I'm not excusing her, but I'm telling you, here's the reason. There are reasons in life that break people. It doesn't mean that it's an excuse, but it is the reason that it happens. And he said, and the thing that he said, and I love, because it's how I feel about things. It's like, this is my cross to bear, not yours.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. I will deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't for you to deal with. And I like that.
Yeah. And it's also surprising that TL didn't bring that up when, if there's any time to bring up that story is when Tommy said what he said at the restaurant and stormed out, because then it's like, hey, listen, just so you know why he feels this way and what happened to the mom, this is what happened about the sister, SIDS, the whole thing, because that's when everything fell apart. And he could have, even Tommy himself could have brought that up. He could have said, hey, there was a tragic event that took place in our family that turned her that way. But then again, he says he's never remembered her with the sunshine, rainbows, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there was something going on even prior to that.
Well, he was young when it happened. So maybe he just hears, he's heard from family members, like, basically this is what broke her.
Yeah.
I can actually understand.
Yeah. It was tricky. This whole thing. What was it? There was another scene with Rebecca. She wakes up. She's over at the guy's house. That's a whole thing that's going to come up. They did a little. I don't know if you want to say
my favorite
flirting,
scene of the whole.
Right? But she wasn't sure about the whole
really
thing.
nice scenes there.
Yeah. There's some going on here. We got to see some stuff here, but the guy, we still don't know his name. And she doesn't even ask his name, but it looks like they had a good time. She needs to go take a shower. He starts like, oh, okay, fine. But hey, I got to leave. I got to do some work. So I guess he'll see her later. But that's what I'm thinking, that when she gets ready, she's going to go to wherever she has to go for the drill site stuff. And she's going to see him there. And I'm telling you, maybe he's a representative from the insurance company or from one of the other companies involved in this. But there definitely going to be some kind of tension building between them. Because this come on, it's too convenient. Something that she just finds love on this plane from this situation. No. So what was it? Then after that, there was a quick scene back at the house, right? This is where we got Tommy talking with Andrea.
Yeah.
And she just brings it up. She was like, you know what? I work with old folk. Do you really work with old folk? Is that what we're calling it now? Work? That's what you do. You definitely do something with the old folk. You definitely do something, but I don't know if it is work, but whatever. Her point, and we knew this was coming up. We brought this up when we first saw Sam Elliott mentioned for the show. We were like, all right, they're gonna find some way to bring him in full time. This can't be just a one-off of, hey, come to the funeral, goodbye, I'm out. And this is how it turns in, because she says, you know what? He's not getting any younger. You're not getting younger. You got kids. We're all together right now. You're not going to like this. She closes the door. And sure enough, we hear him scream. We knew what she was going to say. And
we knew. It wasn't shocking.
Wasn't shocking. Basically, he does another 7-hour drive. The man likes to drive. He can drive. Goes back to see his dad. and says, you know what? We don't want you to die here. You know, you should be with your family. If you don't want to, that's fine. This is the only time this offer is going to come up. So, you know, you come now or that's it. And he was like, I got to get my things. Don't worry about it. Already did it for you. I was like, well, I guess he already knew his dad was going to say yes. That's the whole thing? He already knew. But,
yeah.
Right. But, yeah, so he does it and he's like, all right. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, let's do this. I don't know if I deserve this. And it's not about what you deserve. It's just, you know, let's just do this. Yeah, that's it. And this all makes sense, especially with the actor and the family situation. And what is he going to do? And he said, when we go to back at our house, you can watch the sun rise and set all you want. No one's going to bother you. All day. No one's going to tell you to go inside. You can sit out here all you want. And he was like, okay, let's go. And then that's it. He wheels them off and roll the credits.
That's it.
This was a lot. Even with the filler, there's still a lot of important stuff. Like I'm looking at the time. Oh boy, people, if you made it this far, thank you. Put in a comment. Just say you made it this far. We'll get like one person. But either way, this was a lot. People skimmed to what the parts that they want to get to. But man, we had just talked about it. We're like, oh, there's a lot of filler. But when we start recapping, a lot of important parts.
Yes. Again, it's a long. I believe it's a long episode because you have to draw everything out for dramatic pauses. So you can understand the somberness of this episode, right? Almost every episode, there is some sort of fighting. There's someone that's angry.
Yeah.
The only real anger that we see, and we do see anger, shall I say, with Tommy. But the only real anger that we see is with the guy that lost his vision.
Yeah, he's gonna have a hard time. Hopefully it comes back. Hopefully, like the doctor said, we gotta let time heal. His eyes are swollen, it's been infected. Let things clear out. Hope for the best. But there's a lot of moving parts of things happening in this episode, and we'll see what happens in the next one. But this was good. This was good. This was a big one, and there was a lot that happened here. And there we go. Now we got Sam Elliott, and I'm assuming that house. What, the second house that Angela saw? Maybe that's what they buy. The one that had
that's like 4 hours away.
But
that's
they have
Fort Worth.
Oh, they can't all live there. Remember, we got the house doesn't have all the room. I mean, we already had Cooper sleep on the couch. All right, now Cooper's back with Ariana, but what? Grandpa's gonna sleep on the couch? Come on now.
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming that Nate and Dale are gonna be like, "Hey, we can finally move out. Take care."
Oh, you think that's what's gonna happen? They're gonna leave them the house, and then yeah, I guess because then they would have that extra room. I don't know. We'll see. But hey, everybody, thank you. Yeah, wow, this was not the plan to get this long. We were like, yeah, this will be quick, right? We're like, this will be fine. We'll get through this. This was pretty long, a lot to cover, but that's what we tried to do. Just get the meats and potatoes, but there was just a lot of meat here. Very surprised by that afterwards. But hey, thanks again. We'll be back next week for episode 5. While you're here, you can check out the other shows that we have. We have Mary Kingstown, another Taylor Sheridan show. That's fantastic. A lot going on there. Tons of people jumping in the comments for that one. And then we just posted up Spartacus. So if you're into that blood, gore, sex, I mean, there's mass orgies going on. It's a wild show. A lot of action, a lot of craziness. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. But yeah, check that out. All right, everybody. Peace.